This is the area of overgrowth where I get my worm castings from. And I don't think all this could be soil because it decayed way too fast. I'm sure some of it is soil from leaves and composted leaves and overgrowth worm castings. So I've collected a big pot of these worm castings, compost from under this overgrowth, and I'm going to use this with the composted soil from my compost pile that I used in my pots last year, and I'm going to amend that with some perlite. Before I get to that, I'll show you the compost pile. This is my compost pile, mainly leaves from the yard that I raked up. A lot of these just over the last couple weeks. They were falling down, I guess later in the winter. These are actually the stalks and roots from my pepper plants last year. They were sitting in the pot for the winter. Just pull those out so I can reuse the soil. There's some good soil underneath there, but there's about 2 foot layer, 3 foot layer of leaves on top. So it's going to take a while to bake up. I'm going to stir it up a little bit and put some water on top. I might have to use some of that. So this is the worm casting compost soil. This is the compost bin or compost pile soil that was reused from the pots last year. The fresh pot and the perlite. And I'm going to be straightening this out with these strainers here so I can get a little bit finer grade of soil, and then I'll show you what the finished product looks like. So this is what I got from the first pot. One pile of fine, loose soil, and one pile of crumbly rubble, rocks, sticks, and junk. And both these pots are the same size, but even though this is most of the rubble that I got out of there, it's still pretty full. I guess because it's less compressed, and that's the purpose of the perlite. It's going to keep it nice and loose. So right back. Okay, I'm all done sifting from this pot. Got a lot less material, but it's a lot darker looking actually. Probably a lot more richer in the worm castings compared to the soil. Reuse soil from my pots that was once composted soil. Now this wasn't sifted, this was just used, didn't have any perlite or anything in it. And this is the fresh stuff. This is a lot darker, black, brown. Huge difference from used soil and fresh soil. So I'm going to mix these two together, probably 2 parts, 1 part this and 1 part perlite. And this is the extra material from the fresh compost pile there from underneath that overgrowth. Still pretty good stuff. I might use it to fill some holes in the yard or put it into the main compost pile. See what it looks like. Mix of the compost pile and the used soil from last year and some perlite, light and fluffy. The perlite should add extra drainage. So I'm going to take you inside and give you a closer look at the soils that I divided in the final product. This is the finished product. It has the perlite, the potting soil from last year, along with the newly composted soil from the backyard. A little bit closer look. Really light and fluffy, soft in texture. I think it's gonna have some good drainage and be pretty rich in nutrients to start off the plants. We have the perlite. This is the strained, newly composted material from the backyard. Really rich, fluffy and light, dark soil. I think it's pretty rich in worm castings. And then we have the sifted potting soil from last year. A little brown in color. It feels heavy. It's really fine. Finely textured. Well broken down. Okay. This is the waste material from the freshly composted soil, which is still good to go back into the compost bin or to fill up some holes in the yard. This is the debris from the potting soil that was used last year. Plenty of rocks and pebbles, unbroken down soil material. There's some roots in there. Really, really heavy. So this is my homemade soil and perlite mixture. And let me go ahead and open up this bag of Miracle-Gro Nature's Care, and I'll show you what that looks like. Open the bag of Nature's Care, and I'm just gonna pull a little bit out, see what it looks like compared to my soil. So my soil looks to have a little bit more perlite in it. It's a little bit drier. This has some moisture content. I probably need to mix mine a little bit more because I just dumped it in there and stirred it a little bit. So I'm gonna pot these up and get these soils in some pots and show you what they look like. I'll have the two mixtures in the pots, and as you can see, this is the Miracle-Gro mixture, and this is my homemade potting soil. Now my homemade potting soil has about 25% perlite that I put in at the very end. And the Miracle-Gro mixture looks like it has maybe 5 or 10%, not very much. This is a moisture retaining mixture, so probably doesn't require as much drainage, probably doesn't want as much drainage. That's the reason why they didn't use as much perlite. Here are the two plants. The one on the left looks like it needs a little water. I'm going to switch these around. I want to put the bigger one on the Miracle-Gro side. They actually looked about the same size the other day. I think they are. This one is a little wilted from the lack of water. So I'm going to water those, let them saturate for a little bit, pop back up, and then I'll put these in pots. Alright, it's been about 30 minutes since I gave these two seedlings some water. I'm going to go ahead and pot them in the soil mixtures of the Miracle-Gro and my homemade potting soil. So now we have the two seedlings in the pots with the experimental soils, and they're labeled homemade soil and Miracle-Gro Nature's Care. And I want to give you some water and put them out with the rest of the Carolina Reapers. They're both watered, and they're in their spot they're going to stay in for at least the next month or two. So let the competition begin. And it's been 2 weeks since I repotted these, and it looks like they're growing identically. I don't see any noticeable difference in growth. So I will get back with you in a week or two to show you if there's any changes. My homemade soil versus the Miracle-Gro Nature's Care soil. And when I planted these maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, they were about the same size. And just in the last week or so, this one's like increased in size, probably about 33% larger than that one. Leaves are bigger, it's taller. Come on inside here and take a little look at a closer look at that. So you can see the difference in height and the size of the leaves. Also, the one in my potting soil, the leaves are not only much larger, but they are darker in color. Those are kind of pale. So I'm a little bit surprised because they started off, you know, pretty much evenly. Just recently, after it rained a couple times, this one just took off.